Blog Talk Radio.
Race fans, we got something special just for you. Listen in as Chris, Yellow Caution Flag Creighton, and Mr. DJ Sports are in the studio. The 110 Nation Race Chat Live exclusive, bringing you interviews from drivers, promoters, and crews of all types of racing. These are interviews you do not want to miss, so make sure you guys check it out.
Going on, race fans. Glad to be in the studio. No Chris tonight, as Chris is under the weather. He's got some of that COVID-19. But we do got Craig Moore in the studio. Craig, how you doing tonight?
I am well, buddy. How are you? Long time no chat. How's everything in Ohio?
It's a little bit warmer than I'd appreciate it to be, but can't complain. Warm week this week, cools back down. Got baseball this weekend, got a concert this weekend, so can't complain. I know you got some travel plans. What do you got in line going on coming up?
Well, we've got a busy DJ schedule down here, but we're playing 3-4 nights a week, but plus working our day job. But we are heading up to your old stomping grounds, well, kind of, in the Carolinas next week. We're going to Aiken, South Carolina, then Clemson, then Gatlinburg, and then back to Aiken. So, and we're doing it on the motorcycle. We'll log about probably 2,000 miles before it's all said and done.
That sounds like an amazing time. Can't wait to get some free time myself. As a matter of fact, one of the locations you're stopping in is Gatlinburg. We will be there here in about 4 or 5 weeks, first weekend of October, so looking forward to that. We got a new show Monday night. We've had a piquant interest of having athletes come on and do interviews, and it's something that we have been wanting to get back into and bring a lot more here on the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network. So we did a collaboration. We got the 110 Nation Race Chat Live exclusive, an opportunity for myself and the crew over at Race Chat Live, V. Craig, Chris, Taz, those that are free to join, and we sit down and spend 15, 20 minutes interviewing different drivers, different track promoters, different crew members to these drivers, and kind of get an inside look of what goes on in a racing career or a race weekend and all that fun stuff. Because most of us, we just turn the TV on, the crowd, the stadium's full, or the stands are full of people, and cars are sitting on the track, and assume that was just, at snap, and everything came into play. And obviously that's not how it goes. And I think we assume some of these drivers kind of just get to make their way up through the ranks based off of money and who they know. Looking at Landen Lewis's resume, Craig, I think we're far from it. 8-time in total go-kart champion, many modified wins in the Mid-East Dirt Modified Series. LegendCar, one of only 2 drivers to do something. I'm going to let him talk about that. ARCA Series driver, and much, much more. I'm glad our debut show, we got to get somebody on here that is letting their resume speak for themselves versus allowing money and just who opportunity. Landen Lewis coming into this at 5 years old and really just laying down a resume, learning these tracks, getting good seat time, quality seat time.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely important. I don't know if he's in the studio yet, but, so much of today's NASCAR or motorsports is driven by not so much talent, but it's driven by the almighty dollars, the dead presidents that you can bring to the organization that, as you said, it is nice to see somebody who is doing it the old-fashioned way.
Yes, definitely glad to see someone that's been in the sport all their life, obviously has a love and a passion. And this is something we wanted to bring to Monday nights. And, of course, still we got Race Chat Live on Tuesday night, which Craig is part of that show over there. The guys will recap you, or guys and lady. We'll recap you guys on everything that happened at Walking Glens this weekend, who's in, who's out right now in the playoff picture. And then, of course, Wednesday nights, we got the 110 Nation sports show. Mario and myself recapped how we thought the AFC was going to play out last week. This week, we'll be tackling the NFC as we get ready for the NFL season, college football, everything really coming into full circle as we hit the fall year, fall sports and everything. So looking forward to that. Make sure most of these shows we're going to have our guests come on 10 o'clock. Now we got a little bit later of a delay. We got them coming on. We got Landen Lewis hitting us up about 8:15 to come in the studio. We wanted to make sure we got all the bugs worked out. We was all ready for Landen Lewis on this first episode. Don't forget, you guys can follow. You can like us on Facebook, the 110 Nation Sports. You can also like Race Chat Live on Facebook. Follow them and everything they got going on over there. My personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports. Also, make sure you guys check out our site, www.the110nationsports Radio Network, where you can catch all the shows, the blogs, show schedules, marketing partners, and also all the links to all the different platforms we are on. You can catch these shows, these podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Podchasers, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Audibles. Really any major platform that you can catch different podcasts on, you can catch our podcast there. So make sure you guys go to our website, check that out. Follow us on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. That way you know when the next show is out. Anything else you could think of to add to anything I said there, Craig?
No, I think it's exciting. Amazon Music is a new platform for us here at the 110, if I'm not mistaken, so that's exciting. I usually try to catch the shows on Spotify because I don't get a chance to listen in on Tuesday night. I am going to try and call tomorrow. I actually forgot about it last week because I have been busy at work. So when you work in radio, you're always busy. It's like when you work in the convenience market, you're always on the move. You're always doing something. It's no different in my.
And it's been, and talking about being on Spotify, it's really a convenient. You don't know how many times that I have just chose different platforms just to try them on different platforms to see how easy it is to let people know how simple it is to find our shows. Make sure you also subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to work on that. We had a lot of things go on where I was unable to do videos and stuff. Getting back into the swing of them, learning a lot more this week, so looking forward to that as well. For those that don't follow Race Chat Live, make sure that you guys like them on Facebook. That way next year, I really like how this played out. Next year, you can join our racing pool. We have a race pool with the 110 Nation and Race Chat Live. We are in the final week as we go to Daytona of the regular season. Group A, you got 2 guys that are eligible for one playoff spot. In Group B, you got 4 people eligible for 2 spots. I am glad to see that this point, and Group A is not even decided yet. I think all top 3, myself, Chris, and I don't know if you're the 3rd place, Craig, or who was 3rd place. But you got 3 people that are, it's Taz, Chris, and myself, all eligible to win the points, and Craig's in the running for one of the last playoff spots. But I am glad our racing pool played out this way, where we came down to the last week and we got so many people eligible to either be in the playoffs or win the group still. And so for those that missed it this year, make sure that next year you guys join the race pool. It doesn't cost anything. We've given out multiple prizes. We still got more things to give away as we continue to finish up this race season. But very, very excited how this played out. This is, I think, how all of us here at the 110 Nation and Race Chat Live envisioned it when we behind the scenes were kind of throwing different ideas on this race pool and how we wanted to function and what our overall hopes and vision how this was going to play out. I think it played out exactly how we was all hoping it would.
Yeah, I think it played out well. I mean, I was a little concerned in the beginning of the year because it was a brand new pool. But listen, in the Group B, we got a couple of minutes. In Group B, Luke Rakowski, who has forgotten to do every pick for the last month, still has a shot to make playoffs. My other half, Teresa, has a shot. James Carroll has a shot. And your wife has a shot.
Yep.
The only one that's not eliminated, the only one that doesn't is Austin in Group B. Last year's winner between the hosts, Lee Reed, well, unfortunately for Miss Lee, she is eliminated, and so is Jared.
Jared, who was a host of Southern Dirt Chat Report, as part of the 110, hangs out in the backside. I'm sure is catching the show right now in the group. So it just cool that it played out where we got all these positions. Overall winner in Group A still to play out. One final spot in Group A, and then 2 spots in Group B. It's really cool. So I'm glad that the only thing I hope for next year is just we get bigger. Hope we get the opportunity to extend our pool and have it grow even bigger. We got Landen in the studio.
Real quick, Jason, I want to give a shout out to Taz Taylor. Every week he puts the points together, and he tallies up the points. I know he is a busy man. He's got a 1-year-old plus 3-year-old plus 6-year-old, so he is a busy man as well. So I want to thank him for his hard work and dedication. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but wanted to give Taz a huge shout out as well.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely, Taz does a lot behind the scenes, getting the pool together. We're going through all the emails to make sure that nobody's been maxed out, who's still available, and then putting out who everybody picks, then the new point system, and then everything else to prepare for the next week coming up. Taz does a lot behind the scenes and a phenomenal job with this race pool, and definitely wouldn't have this without him. We got Landen Lewis in the studio. Looking forward to have a conversation with him outside of my co-host. It caught me off guard. I thought it was my co-host because it's the same area code as Landen is calling in from. So first that's what I thought it was, and I realized by the number it wasn't. So it always catches me off guard. Spent 25 years in that neck of the woods in the Carolinas. So it's always good to see the area code that I spent half my life in. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and get you in here, Landen. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be on Monday nights. Glad an opportunity to sit down, get to know you, get an opportunity our listeners to get to know you, and looking forward just to learn some new stuff tonight. My math serves me right. You've been doing this since you were barely out of diapers. What got you into racing? What age did you start? How did this all kick off? Like, at that age, most people ain't thinking about a racing career.
No, definitely not at 4 years old. I don't think anyone's, looking at a racing career. But I got started at my family involved in racing all my life. And I grew up at the racetrack, watched my dad race. And I always kind of knew I wanted to do it, at that age. And then my dad gave me the opportunity one day to just try it out. And I guess ever since then, it's just kicked off from 4 years old to 17. So it's been really fun, honestly, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Can you even remember a day of not racing? Like, can you remember life before racing?
Honestly, not really. I don't. I mean, I remember, I think, what the day was of my first day in racing, but definitely don't remember the day before that. Looks
like early in your career you started off with a lot of success with essentially 8 championships in the go-kart series and a national winner, a lot of wins. What was that like? Did that help with the confidence? Was there a lot of learning curve? I mean, that's a lot of wins and a lot of championships in your younger years. Was there any time frames that it wasn't as easy going with all the wins, and was there a lot of learning in those early years?
Well, there's definitely a lot of learning, I feel like, in any, form of racing. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, you're always learning something every time you hit the racetrack. So there was definitely a lot of learning, but it was just really cool. Go-karts was my first thing. So I did those for about, I'd say 12 years, or not 12 years, probably honestly about 8 or 9 years. And I did that for a while and learned a lot, and then finally was able to move on from there and had a really good success, I feel like, in my go-karting career. And then I moved on from there and went to dirt modifieds and started racing for Ron Hornaday with his program, and it really hit off really well. We got 2 wins and right off the bat, and then ever since then it just kind of took off as far as my racing career from then.
At what point was that a conversation? Like, when did you or your family feel that it was time for you to move up into the modified series?
I'm not sure. I mean, my dad, he kind of seen, I guess, the progression I was making as far as in go-karting. And I guess he just seen something and figured it was time to make this step up. And he actually got in contact. We went to a local dirt track by my house and watched actually one of Ron's modifieds win the race. And my dad's like, we definitely got to get in contact with him and get one of those modifieds. They look really fast. And so we ended up getting in contact with Ron's daughter about getting a modified, and actually drove up here for one of my banquets that I had for go-karting. And I honestly was really surprised. I didn't know that was going to happen. My dad never told me until I actually got to Ron Hornaday's shop and was able to end up buying a modified that day from Ron. And then Ron actually come to my first race and watched me, and I guess seen something in me that he, I guess, wanted to keep helping me. And ever since then, it's just Ron's been behind me 100%. The whole Hornaday family has invited me into their family 100%. So it's just really cool to be a part of the family, and really cool that they've helped me.
So I want to make sure I got this right, because this seems like just like a dream come true. Essentially, you guys just called up Ron Hornaday and said, look, we feel he needs to be in one of your cars, and that was kind of how it all got going?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of what I've heard. What my dad told me, it's kind of how it went down. We went on Facebook, found their Facebook page, found the phone number on their Facebook page, called the number. It was Ron's daughter, and she invited us up and said, yeah, we got a modified for sale if you want to buy one. I guess come on up, and we went up and ended up buying the modified that day, and ever since then it's just kind of took off from there.
I mean, obviously the resume speaks for itself. Even at that point, that's just like, how cool is that to have somebody big, somebody local, somebody, you idolize, just give you an opportunity. Just like, you know what? All right, I'll take a shot in the dark. Let's do this. That's just really cool. You don't get that from everybody everywhere, especially other sports as well. So that's really cool. But the success and the road doesn't stop there. LegendCars, you've made a pretty big name for yourself and did something that most other drivers have not been able to do. As a matter of fact, you're only the second driver to do this. Talk a little bit about your Legends career.
My Legends career honestly has been really great, and something that I'm very thankful for of how it honestly all come together. It's pretty cool. The guy I drive for, Joe Ryan Race Cars, he actually dates Ron Hornaday's granddaughter. So it kind of comes in full circle, and I actually went and tested one day at Concord before they closed down and tested one of his cars, and Ron come to the track with us, and they said that I did a really good job, and we went down to Florida for a big national event that U.S. LegendCars has every year down there at Citrus County, and I ended up winning my second race ever in one of those cars. And so I guess from there it kind of took off, and ever since then just been full at it. Ended up winning the trifecta last year, or the year before last, and was able to win dirt, asphalt, and road course world finals. So I guess that's definitely a highlight in my career, but really cool to be a part of Joran race cars and my legend car.
Landon, I have a question for you, Craig. Landon, I have a question for you. Craig Moore here from South Florida. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
You know what? We're above ground taking nourishment. It's a great day.
That's right.
For people that don't know what a legend car is, it might be tuning into this show for the first time. Briefly explain to us what a legends car is in layman's terms.
A legend car, honestly, it's very hard to drive. They have really short wheelbase. They have a lot of power with very little grip. So you have to learn how to drive, I feel like, on the edge every lap to be really, really fast. So they're really cool cars. You sit in the middle of them. They have motorcycle motors in them. You know, the shifting is 1 down, 5 up. So just like a motorcycle, short wheelbase, low grip. So you're on the edge of your seat, I feel like, at all points of the race and the time you're in them. So that's about legend cars, I guess, in a roundabout way, just really fast.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Go ahead, CJ. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're good. Speaking of the trifecta, for someone, Leighton turns, I'm going the same place he is. Speaking to those that don't keep up with the Legend Series, one, how big of a deal is the trifecta? I understand you're only the second to do it, but how many years have they been doing this trifecta? Is this something that's a long-going tradition, something that is a newer tradition for those that don't keep up with the Legend Series?
Well, so I guess I could tell you about the trifecta and what it means. It's honestly, so every year U.S. Legend Cars, they put on 3 national events for dirt racing, road course racing, and oval racing. And everyone from around the country, the world, comes to this race, right? And so I actually ended up winning the dirt portion of it in the semi-pro class, and then I won the road course portion of it, and then I won the oval portion of it. So I won all 3 types of their events that they had, and was able to win the races against everyone in the country and everyone in the world that comes to that race. So it's a really cool deal, and I was, fortunate enough I was the second ever to do it. So just really cool to be a part of that.
Now, last year you got an opportunity to run in the ARCA series. How much different was that for you? And in all these different types, the go-karts, the modified, the legends, and the ARCA series, how much of a difference is the driving style? How much, I guess, iRacing or practice time do you got to take to adjust to different cars, or are they pretty similar? Well, obviously, the way you talked about the Legends car, there's nothing really similar to that. But what's it like transitioning from one series to the next, or i.e. one car to the next?
It's very different, obviously, just because, a stock car to a legend car or a dirt modified, it's very big, very heavy, very fast, have a lot of power. So it's just a lot of stuff going on, I feel like, underneath you, too, as far as suspension and stuff like that. So it's a lot you honestly have to learn, and a lot that goes into them, and a lot that goes into winning one of those races. One of those races are honestly more effort than anything, I feel like, because everything has to go right. Everything in your day has to go perfect, and as a driver, you have to do everything right. So it's the stock car stuff is definitely different, but I feel like if any driver is good, they can hop into any forms of those racing and do very well.
Now, I've seen a little bit of highlights, and of course, your resume, a mile long, good God. Different tracks. It's always interesting to me in what drivers prefer. Are you a road course super speedway? I mean, obviously having especially the ARCA series, having that win on a road course, I'm sure that road course has got to be a very comfortable thing for you. But what kind of track do you prefer? The super speedways, the media, what size? What I'm looking for? The 1.5 mile tracks. I'm drawing a blank on what we actually call those these days. And even the short tracks. Is there any one you prefer over another?
It's funny that you asked that question because honestly, a lot of people ask me that and they're like, what do you think, like, what do you like the most? And I'm like, honestly, like road racing, it's something that I don't come from. It's not a background that I come from. I come from a dirt background. So I would say road racing is really, really fun because it's something different, right? There's 12 corners. There could be, there's multiple corners. There's a lot of stuff going on throughout every corner and different techniques that you have to use in every corner. So, I mean, obviously oval and dirt racing is a blast, but road racing is just something different, and it's always something new, right? So I think road racing is just very, very fun to me.
And I agree with you, and I like how NASCAR has changed. I remember growing up, and I never cared for road courses, but it's like the same two road courses, Sears Point, Watkins Glen. That was really it in the 80s and 90s. It kind of gives you my age a little bit. I like what NASCAR has done with the street, like the Chicago street race and Indy changing up, just giving us a little variety. Because then you got to get sucked into these tracks versus just seeing the same two tracks year in and year out. So I think that the road courses have definitely become a more popular track to watch and go to. I think people are really embracing it more than the early days because everybody got tired of watching these ringers come in because the Cup guys just really weren't road course drivers. And now you guys coming in, you guys spend a lot more time on the road course, and I like that. This year, I know you got a schedule of races. I know you got some more still coming up. Let's talk a little bit about 2023, how this year has gone for you so far. What was the goals for the year, and what do you still have coming up for the rest of your season?
Yeah, definitely in 2023. It's been an amazing year, honestly. Being able to lead the points in the ARCA Menard Series, leading the points. We were leading the points. We're 1 point back out of first now, so very, very close points battle on that side of things. We've won a race. We've finished inside the top 5 every race, I feel like. So it's been honestly really good year for all of us. On the ARCA side with Cook Racing Technologies, Bruce Cook and everyone over there had brought me a really fast car everywhere we've been, so I can't thank them enough and always sticking with me and wanting to get better, right? It's never ending there of wanting to get better and learning every day. That side's been really well. The LegendCar side, I haven't done much this year, but the races I've done, we've ran really, really well. We won the road course championship out in Vegas earlier this year. Was really good in Nashville when we raced there at the fairgrounds. So the LegendCar side is going really, really well, and I just honestly, 2023 has been a really great year for me.
Do you still do schooling? Obviously, 17 years old. You're still in that younger age. You do schooling. Did you graduate early? What's your education, and how's that working around a race career?
It's obviously I just graduated high school this year. I graduated a year early, so did 2 years in one. It was definitely tough. It was definitely tough while racing, but I knew that I had to get it done just because I want to focus on racing and put all my focus towards it to try to give myself the best opportunity to make it to one of the top 30 series in NASCAR. So I'm done with school, but I did do homeschool, so that made life a little easier. But definitely school, I really enjoyed it for sure.
And a couple of last things, we'll get you out of here. I kind of like to step away from the sport itself for a second and let the fans get to know you a little bit personally in your spare time. You get a weekend to kind of get away and do what you want to do, nothing race related, just kind of hang out with some high school friends or neighborhood friends that you grew up with. What would you do? What's a fun time for a weekend for you?
There's honestly not a lot of weekends that I get to do that, either racing every weekend or in the shop working with all the guys and just trying to get myself better and learning the car. So there's not a lot of weekends that I get off, but I enjoy it and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I guess the weekends that I do get off, I like to go on the boat. Going Lake Norman here is really fun. I like to do that. I like to hunt, fish. Just being outside, honestly, is really fun to me. Anything I get to do outside is definitely a blast.
Now, where you stay, is that close to Charlotte?
Yes, I live in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Okay. It had supplies or hometown. I never heard of that on your site. Like I said, I spent 25 years in North Carolina. I can't tell you how many times I've been to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I've been to Hall of Fame. Did a couple events out there with Chip Ganassi Racing. They used to hold a sound garage thing. So really kind of familiar with that whole area. It's a beautiful, beautiful area that way. A lot of racing. Been to a couple local tracks out that way as well. But I want to thank you, Landen, for coming on, giving us an opportunity to get to meet you, get to know you, with the fans, get to hear your story, and get to know a little bit about you. Hopefully later on in the season, get some more races underneath the belt, and we get towards the end of the season, we get you back on and see how the season ended and what the plans are for 2024. But wish you the best of luck on your upcoming races, and hope to talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you guys for having me on, and I'd like to thank all my sponsors before I go off. Rent Source,
Yep.
American Resurface Incorporated, MMI, Lulu's Waterfront, Cook Racing Technologies, Team Hornet Development, just everyone that makes it possible. It wouldn't be, obviously, my mom and dad for giving me this opportunity. It just wouldn't be possible without anybody. So big thanks to everyone, and thank you guys for having me on.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah,
Make
you
sure
don't
you guys
want to
also-
forget mom and dad.
Yeah, definitely don't want to leave out that.
Make sure you guys check out his site, www.landenlewis.com. A lot of great things going on there. His upcoming race. Make sure you guys go out and get to the track and check him out. Landen, you have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Yep. Oh, Greg. Tuesday night, tomorrow night, Race Chat Live. I know you said you're busy. You're going to be trying to call in. And for those that are listening to the show, when we all say we're busy, all of us go back and catch all the shows. All of us either listen to them on different platforms, or we might be too busy to be on the show while it's on. But you ought to see the chat room going on. Good Lord, I have to mute my phone half the Tuesday nights because you guys be carrying on conversation after the show. And I usually fall asleep. You hear the wife start huffing and puffing when you hear the ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, that's
so
why mine goes on airplane mode.
So I usually mute it when it's time for me to lay down, so she ain't got to hear the ding. And I sleep through that stuff. She don't. But Wednesday night, the 110 Nation Sports Show. Go ahead, Greg.
The one thing I was going to ask him, and I didn't, I couldn't get in quick enough because, you were rapid fire was, and that's cool. But wanted to ask him what his least favorite style track is. The one that he struggles the most at. And by the sound of it, he don't struggle at many, but
no, it's a lot of wins. I watched his win. He actually was racing Cole Custer for the races that was green, white checker. As exciting as that was, and glad to see him win, the race that he actually finished second was more of an exciting race to me. I think it was Dover is where they were at. But him and I forget who it was that finished first, they were banging and beating off each other's door coming around that last lap. It was very exciting to watch. But Miss Lee, since we have a guest lined up for next week, and I forget already, I'll pull it up real quick, as we get wrapped up and get out of here. I'm glad the internet people came out today and fixed the internet. I actually upgraded the service last Thursday or Wednesday. Actually paid 7 times the amount for this service because it's supposed to be high speed versus the stuff we had. It lasted 3 days and it went out. Come to find out, these damn squirrels chewed a hole through the damn cable, so I could only be so mad at them for it. The cable
they
people.
were hungry. Feed them.
Oh,
Y'all don't have
got upset about it.
Bring those home.
I was mad all weekend because everything is linked to that Wi-Fi. We have YouTube TV. Everything is linked to that outside of our phone. So unless you wanted to look at your little phone, we had to go figure out life. But of course, me and the wife did. We had soccer, one kid. We had comedy show and other things that we were able to find to do. But next week we got Isaiah Kitzmiller, and I probably jacked that up, joining us. Looking forward to have him on the 110 Nation Race Chat Live exclusive. Not sure who's going to be in the studio with me. I think Craig said he's going to be on the road. I know Taz has got kid duties on Monday, and the wife's doing schooling and bettering herself. So he's got a lot going on there. So hopefully Chris will be over being sick next week. He said he's going to be back. He said message it in, but, we'll see. Hopefully get better soon. I know some people get over quick, some people it kicks their butt. Craig, any last words before you get out of here?
Yeah, you didn't hear me. I had my phone on mute. I will try to definitely jump on next week. I'm eating homemade jalapeno poppers, and they're a little spicy. I think she's trying to kill me. Hey, do me a favor. Tell Darth Vader next week to stay the hell home.
All right. My cue to get out of here. We'll work on Darth Vader staying at home.
Love you, brother.
Make sure. Love you too. Make sure you guys check us out, www.the110nationsportsradionetwork.com. Make sure that you guys check out Race Chat Live tomorrow at 8 p.m. The 110 Nation Sports Show, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. We'll be back here next Monday night for the Race Chat Live, the 110 Nation Race Chat Live exclusive. You guys have a great night, and talk to y'all next week.